Today, we're covering defense. To defend well, you first need to force your opponent to create an arc on their shot. So, what does creating an arc mean? If I give my opponent a high ball, he'll smash it right at me. So, to slow down his loop, the first rule is to keep the ball low. A low ball forces a slower loop. This applies to your serves as well. No matter how much spin, a high serve is ineffective. You must serve low. A low ball forces the opponent to lift. If you just serve low without much spin, it's hard for them to drive it. Their instinct is to loop upwards, which often results in hitting the net. Therefore, you only consider driving a ball that already has a high arc. Always aim to keep the trajectory low. In defense, are you more afraid of speed or spin? If you fear fast balls, it's a sign that the quality of your own returns is too low. If I can return the ball with pace, my opponent won't be able to play fast. The second best method for handling fast balls is what I've previously called the triangle theory. The triangle theory is simple. Keep your hand in front and use a diagonal forearm angle for your block. If your forearm is parallel to the table, like a backhand drive, you won't be able to keep up with the speed. Why can't you keep up? Because by the time you retract and swing forward, the ball's second bounce is already faster than your swing. This is why you're always late to the ball. This often leads to missed shots or getting jammed by the ball during defense. Instead, position your forearm diagonally and block towards the front side. This allows you to intercept even powerful drives and ensures you're on time. When the ball comes to your body, block with this diagonal angle, never with a flat racket. Now, I'm talking about when your opponent drives the ball hard. If they use a heavy topspin loop, this block will go out of bounds. Against a drive, your forearm must be at a diagonal angle. Keep your hand in front of your body when you do this, and you'll find blocking much easier. The same principle applies to the forehand. If you block from the inside out with a flat angle, you'll never match their speed. The faster they hit, the more you should lift your hand diagonally upwards and forwards. My defense is decent because I used to play against choppers and long pips. I couldn't out-hit them, so I let them attack me. They found my style frustrating because their offense was weak, so the best strategy against pimple players is to make them attack you. If you keep attacking them, you're playing right into their comfort zone. Next, let's discuss blocking heavy topspin, which is the most difficult. Why do you hit the net? Let's have Haiji demonstrate a fake loop. When he plays a fake loop with less spin, you treat it as a heavy spin ball, so of course you hit the net. But when he plays a real topspin loop, your racket angle is correct. So, if you're frequently netting your blocks, it means your opponent isn't actually imparting that much spin. They are mostly just lifting the ball, but you're treating it like a heavy topspin shot because you're not observing their motion carefully. What makes a loop effective? It's having variety. Forehand and backhand, drives and high arc loops, spin and no spin. That's a good loop. For amateur players, serve-receive is the hardest part because of its immense variety. It's the same with backspin. It's difficult because there's light spin, some spin, medium spin, heavy spin, and super heavy spin. You make mistakes because of this variety. Therefore, you need to add variety to your returns to make it difficult for your opponent. If all my shots go to the same location, my opponent will eventually figure it out. But if I mix in heavy topspin, accelerated shots, and shots with side spin, they will fear my game. Hitting the net is a less common problem. Let's focus on hitting the ball long. The primary reason for hitting long is timing. I believe the three most important elements of defense are: the first element is to always take the ball early. In table tennis, there are only two techniques where you can aggressively take the ball early: the block and the short push, drop shot. Whether it's a drive or a high arc topspin loop, if you contact the ball on the rise, you're essentially neutralizing the spin before it can take full effect. This makes the ball much easier to block successfully. So, how should we handle players who defend from mid-distance? Use a high arc loop. A high, spinny loop forces them to lift the ball, resulting in a short return, which sets you up for a smash on the next shot. For example, I play a high arc loop, they pop it up, and then I can kill it. It's a very effective combination. With high arc loops, shorter is better. The shorter my loop, the higher its quality. You struggle against these defenders mainly because you always loop cross-court. That's why the second strategy against mid-distance defenders is to pause your swing right before making contact. Why is the pause and smash technique so common now? It's designed to disrupt the defender's timing. One strategy is to play wide to both corners, another is to play a short ball followed by a long, fast one. Short then long means you play a short, spinny ball. When they pop it up, you smash the second ball deep. This change of pace is extremely awkward to handle. This works against defenders who back away from the table. They all struggle with soft, short balls. If they defend close to the table, it's a different story. However, I don't recommend defending from mid-distance. You'll only beat players with poor fundamentals. Against someone who can loop drive to both corners, you won't be able to defend. To effectively transition from defense to a strong offense, you must try to block from a position closer to the table. After I block, I can transition to offense. If you can block 2 consecutive attacks, you can seize the initiative. For instance, keeping your hand by your side to block a topspin loop is passive. But if I keep my hand in front of my body, I can even punch block it for a winner. It's the same for the backhand. If I stay back and block with the same motion, the ball will go long. But if I take the ball earlier, closer to the table, I can block it down for a winner. When I contact the ball early, I should definitely add power. If I'm late, I have to resort to a soft block. If I take the ball on the rise, I must add some forward momentum through the second half of the stroke. It rarely goes out of bounds because when you take the ball that early, the spin hasn't fully taken effect. Second point, when blocking, can you add some force? For instance, add a bit of speed or friction. The simplest method is this: when your opponent plays a heavy topspin loop, use the same motion but add a downward, covering motion with your forearm. A normal block is a simple push forward. Now, from your starting point, I want you to move your forearm forward by the length of one racket. If they play a fast drive, on the other hand, your forearm should move forward, not downward. By doing this, my return will have a lot of forward momentum, jamming the opponent. But if you just block passively from one spot, your opponent can easily attack your return again. So, when they loop with heavy spin, your forearm covers down. When they drive it fast, your forearm pushes forward. So, for topspin, cover down. For a drive, push forward. When your forearm moves through the shot, the quality of your return will be much higher. Remember, this movement must come from the forearm, not the wrist, and not the upper arm. Using your upper arm or flicking your wrist will not work. The power must come from forearm displacement. Just memorize this rule. It's like 1 + 1 is equal to 2. You must lock your wrist and move the forearm. This applies to both forehand and backhand. The third key point, when blocking a spinny ball, you absolutely must have a firm grip on your racket. If I hold the racket loosely, I can't control the spin. It feels like the ball is going right through my racket. But if I grip the racket tightly, I mean, really squeeze it, I can block anything. If you use a soft, relaxed grip, you won't be able to control the block. Why can't you block high-quality, spinny shots? This is because your grip is too soft. It's a natural instinct. When your opponent attacks, you get scared, you pull back, and your hand becomes very soft and loose. When they attack hard, you'll definitely fail the block with a soft grip. Grip your racket tightly, and you'll be able to block both powerful drives and heavy topspin loops. The key is to keep your hand tight, secure, and firm during the block.